Good luck, team. If you are working and in your 20s, 30s, or 40s, this video is for you. Our seniors are in a retirement crisis, and you need to know how and why to avoid it. What you got, Coach?
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Financial Success Coach. We are John and Tara Thorman, your financial coaches, and we are here to help you win your money game. All right, so let's dig into today's topic, which is the retirement crisis and how to avoid it, okay? Now, this is not some sensationalized, fear-mongering. This is for real, okay? American seniors are in a retirement crisis, and if you want to avoid that probably certain fate, okay, you're going to follow in their footsteps. If you want to avoid that, you got to make some different decisions right now. So we're going to go through some of that today and help you understand what's going on, but more importantly, how to avoid it. All right. So let's dig right into this. If we look at some recent stats, this is some recent research. It says that 89% of seniors, people 60 and over, 89% say we are in a financial crisis, a retirement crisis. Retirement crisis. Could you imagine? That's nine out of 10 people age 60 say we are in a retirement crisis.
That's nuts.
That is awful. Okay. These people are facing some serious financial lack. They are like cutting back. They are not able to live their dream in retirement. And that was the whole goal, wasn't it? To save for the future and then enjoy your golden years. It's not happening. Okay. 80%, 8 out of 10 retirees do not have financial security. They do not have financial freedom. They do not have financial independence. They are scrimping and saving and trying to get by. And if you want to avoid that, which I'm sure you do, all right, you got to do things differently. Now, listen, for a little bit of a background, understand that this 401k has been really an experiment, and it's only 40 years old. Okay. This is new.
I
And
didn't know that either.
yeah, it's only 40 years old. It's new. And there's some problems. Okay. It's not this panacea. It's not working like everybody hoped or thought or prayed that it would. And so we got to be really smart about this and make some decisions. Now, here's some other startling stats. I like that. Startling stats that are relevant for your situation as you think ahead, because I know you want to be financially free. You want to attain financial freedom. This is recent. This came out within the last 2 months, I believe, maybe the end of March, from Social Security, right? And people that are relying on Social Security, it's not looking good. In fact, it's getting worse. All right. Let me pull this up, see if I can share it with you. Boom. Look what it says here. This was a press release the end of March from Social Security, and it says that the Old Age and Survivors Insurance Trust Fund is projected to become depleted, meaning it has no balance in 2033. Guys, that's 10 years from now. Social Security, the Social Security income, right? No balance in 10 years. And as a result, they won't be able to pay out 100% of the benefits anymore. They're only going to, their projection, you see that? Their projection is to only be able to pay out 77% of the benefits. Say, what? That's right. Social Security is in trouble. The government keeps kicking the can down the road and they're not dealing with it. So you can't count on Social Security to be there for you like it has been for your parents or your grandparents. Okay. In 2033, right now, if they do nothing, which they're good at, okay, it'll only be able to pay out 77% of the current benefits that they're guaranteeing people.
Yeah.
I know. It's in 10 years. That is awful. Now, here's something else. This is from the Government Accountability Office. Are you ready for this? The U.S. Government Accountability Office. This report just came out as well. This is brand new. It's hot off the press. It says the nation's unsustainable fiscal path. What? That's right. Look at how much federal debt is held by the public, past, present, and future. What we're looking at here is the gross domestic product and the debt, a percentage of debt to gross domestic product. It peaked out in World War II. You can see here it was at a historical high at 106. Well, guys, After COVID, we're projected to surpass that before 2030. That's just in a few years. The thing that is so important, and this is the Government Accountability Office, this is the GOA. They submitted this report to everybody in the federal government. And basically they're saying, listen, this is unsustainable, right? We cannot keep doing this. It's going to be disaster. Okay. So you can't count on Social Security benefits to be there like they have been for your retirement, right? If you're 20 or 30 and you're working your butt off right now and I know you're not thinking about retirement. You're thinking about paying the rent or paying your mortgage or, how do you, get by and survive. But I am telling you, you've got to get serious about prioritizing savings because you can't count on Social Security. Okay. You can't even count on your 401k. You've got to save some money outside of that and make it a priority. Because if you don't, you're not going to enjoy the retirement of your dreams, right? You're not going to achieve financial freedom. And that's what we're here for. We want to help you achieve financial freedom. So we got to do this different. Now, I want to take a quick look at 401k plans because for most people, right, you don't have a pension. Those are gone, right? They really don't exist anymore in the private sector. They're basically been completely replaced now with defined contribution plans, which are like your 401k plan. And here's some interesting stats. They're awesome in the fact that they encourage you to save money right now.
Yes.
Right? They help you put that rule number 1, if you will, which is pay yourself first.
Right.
So they're great for doing that. And I want to encourage you, you've got to pay yourself first. You got to follow that principle. But here's the facts, okay? Only about 50% of American workers are contributing to a 401k plan. So what are the other 50 doing? How are they saving money? Okay, let's take a look at this article right here. This is from Financial Planning Magazine, and it says that almost half of Americans cash out their 401ks when changing jobs. Here's why this is important. Our workplace has changed dramatically, and now the average tenure at a job is not 40 years or 30 years and retiring with a pension, right? Those days are gone. Now people are changing jobs every 3 to 4 years. Okay. Well, let's say you stay at a place for 5 years, whatever, right? And you've got a 401k balance, you've got the company match, it's vested now, you get that, and you leave jobs, you go to somewhere else. If you cash out your 401k plan, you're starting all over again. Like that's a disaster. Okay. You cannot do that. But half of people that have a 401k are cashing it out, and now they're having to start all over again. So here's the dilemma, right? We got half of workers with no 401k, and they're not saving any money for retirement. The other half, they're changing their job like every few years, and then they cash the thing out. This is a disaster, okay? And we've got to make some changes here. So what are you going to do? You've got to set up some retirement savings accounts that are independent from your job that you can consistently contribute to no matter where you're working, right? Because our workplace has changed so much that you can't rely on an employer-sponsored plan anymore. You guys have got to do this on your own. Now, if you have an employer-sponsored plan, great. Like, take advantage of it and get all the free money you can. If there's a company match, do it, right? And then stay there long enough so that you vest and you can keep all that money. You got to check that out, okay? But get that free money, but have your own plan separately now. That's more important now than ever because, like I said, our workplace has changed so much. We just can't do it the way that we've done it in the past. Now, what I want to show you is the game plan, because you got to have a game plan, right? So here, what's your game plan? What are you doing to save money for retirement? Okay, so let me show you this. This is our money game plan, okay? And for you in your 20s and 30s and 40s, you're in this early, asset accumulation. You see that? That's kind of like phase 1. Your early years are in asset accumulation. when you hit, let's say 50 and over, now you move into phase 2, which is asset protection, right? When you're young, you can take on more risk. You can be more concentrated and try to grow your money, right? This is asset accumulation. But there's a big difference between getting rich and staying rich, right?
That's right.
It's a big difference. So at some point, you're going to have to make a transition here and do asset protection, because you see these. All right, let's pull back here. We're going to do see this? Woo! We got nest eggs, right? And we got to protect those. You can't work 30 years or 40 years and get to retirement and then have your nest egg blow up and then not have any money anymore. All right. So we got to protect those. So we go from asset accumulation to asset protection, and then into asset decumulation, which is when you're spending the money, right? Do we have one of these? All right. So here's what happens. The challenge is that you get your nest egg, but you can't live on a nest egg. Then you got to do is take your nest egg and you got to convert it into cash flow, right? And that is a big problem for seniors. How do you do that and get a guaranteed lifetime income? Well, we help people with pensionizing. Yeah, you got to pensionize that nest egg so that you can get a guaranteed cash flow, okay? But then you go through asset decumulation and then into asset transfer. And that's leaving your legacy, really, and how you're going to disperse of the assets that you have left, okay? But our 401k situation is a problem, because we've had 40 years of this. Ted Benna, you might want to look him up. He's considered the father of the 401k, right?
Actually, it's like 50, because 78, right? So we're 2020, so 50.
Well, not quite.
Oh, yeah, I guess. Yeah, sorry.
That's okay, but you're right. I mean, the tax law changed, I believe, in 1978, right? But they passed the law in 1978, but it didn't go into effect until 1980. And I don't think the first actual 401k plan went into effect until 1982.
Yeah.
But here's what's crazy, guys. This is unbelievable. The 401k plan was never, I repeat, it was never designed to be the primary retirement savings plan for American people. That is not what it was. But it became that. It was like an accident, an afterthought, right? Ted Benna saw this tax code provision, which really was created and designed because of high income earners, executives making a ton of money, were taking advantage of some situations to defer their receiving that income so they could defer it to a future time period when hopefully they would be in a lower tax bracket. And this is really interesting, because in 1978, 1980, interest rates were super high, right? Tax rates were super high. And if you don't know, you should look this up. But I believe they were over 70%. The top marginal income tax bracket was over 70%. The history will blow your mind, because I know you're not aware of this. But if you look back, the top marginal income tax brackets in the 60s were way over 70. I think they were over 80%. Okay. The top marginal income tax bracket federally, okay, in 1944 was 94%. Like, you have no idea how good you have it, and you think you pay high taxes now. But if you look back through history, the top marginal income tax rates have been dramatically higher, like well over 70%. Okay. But so in this environment, like 40 years ago, 1980, you got super high interest rates, super high tax rates, and people were looking for a way to save money. So these executives, these people, highly paid, highly compensated people, were looking to defer as much of their money as they could into the future and hope for being in a lower tax bracket. So the tax law change in 78 was to try to like rein that in a little bit and set some caps and parameters and whatever. Ted Benna saw the tax code and he goes, I think we could like reframe this and create something where more people could put money away on a tax deferred basis, right? And then add an employer contribution to match it, because pensions were starting to go away.
Mhm.
Because of the ERISA law, the tax law passed in 74, the pension situation was not looking good. It was super expensive and problematic for employers. Nobody wanted to start
Right.
a pension at
Mhm.
that point,
Mhm.
right? So we had like a lot of drama going on in the pension and retirement planning for employees back in those 70s. So he took that tax law and found a way to, reframe the thing, and went to the IRS and got their stamp of approval to allow them
Mhm.
to use that 401k tax code provision in a way that was never intended.
Mhm.
And that's how we have the 401k plan today. I mean, it's crazy, right?
Mhm.
Never, your 401k plan never intended to be the primary retirement savings plan for your future. So you shouldn't look at it that way either. Like, it's maybe part of the plan,
Mhm.
but don't rely on it to be the whole plan.
It won't be there.
Perhaps. I mean, there's issues, right?
Yeah.
And now we're in a completely different environment, right? In 1980, we had super high income tax rates, super high interest rates, and there was not even $1 trillion of federal debt.
Wow.
Not even $1 trillion in debt. Okay. Now, fast forward to today, we have almost $32 trillion of national debt, and we're in a historically low income tax rate environment and a more modest interest rate environment. So it does not make any sense to defer taxes when they're at some of their lowest rates in history, when we have the highest debt level in history, and the baby boomers retiring, and our social security going to be out of depleted in 10 years, right? Like, your income tax rates, there's experts predicting they're going to have to double to keep Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, solvent and being able to pay out. That in 10 years, your income tax rates could double. So it makes absolutely no sense, right? If you're young and you're trying to save for the future, why would you defer taxes when you know you're at a historically low rate now, and you know that in the future, when you want to pull money out, you're going to be paying maybe double your tax rate? That makes no sense. So don't do that. So that's why the traditional 401k plan is maybe not your best solution, right? You maybe want to get into a Roth 401k plan right now, and maybe only contribute as much as required to get all of the free money, all of the company match that you can, and then start saving your own money outside of that in other vehicles that can allow you to accumulate tax exempt money for your retirement. Right? Now, guys, here's why this is so critically important. Okay. We got to show you this. We've done some videos on the compounding effect of money, but I'm telling you, this is so powerful, and you're not taking it serious enough. Okay. This is going to blow your mind. Let's look at this really quick. Okay. If you are 25 and you plan on working a career that's 40 years long and retiring at age 65, if you save $750 a month for the next 40 years, and let's say you average an 8% net rate of return, okay, in a tax exempt account, after all your investment fees and all that kind of good stuff, you could retire with $2.5 million. Now, that's a big number, but keep in mind, $2.5 million in 40 years is not what $2.5 million is today because of inflation. All right. You can have that be the doubling, or basically have that cut in half every 20 years. So instead of $2.5 million, it's 1.25, and instead of 1.25, it's like 650, whatever, right? But you're going to have to get that number to have the purchasing power of $2.5 million today, right? So what happens if you don't start at 25? If you wait and you start at age 35, you're only going to have $1 million. 10 years waiting, okay? The same $750 a month, the same 8% rate of return. You don't have 2.4 million, you have $1 million. You lose almost $1.4 million because of you waited 10 years. And that 10 years is the next doubling of your money. So time, the compounding effect of money is your biggest, most important resource, okay, is time. It's non-renewable. You can't get it back. You can't make up for it. It's too expensive. So you got to start early, okay? And if we go back to this thing, look what happens if you wait until you're 45 to start saving for retirement. If you start at age 45, now you only have 20 years. That same $750 a month at 8% only grows to $432,000. Look at me right here. If you wait and you think, oh, I'm going to, buy a house, I'm going to buy cars and toys and kids and do all this stuff, and I'll start saving in my 40s, forget about it. You can't catch up. You cannot catch up. You're not going to be able to do that. You got to start saving young as soon as possible. The earlier, the better, to let the compounding effect of money work for you, okay? So to sum up, we got a serious retirement crisis. We got 80% of retirees today that are not living their dream, right? They're in like serious financial hurt. And the 401k plan was never designed to be your primary retirement savings plan vehicle, okay? You cannot look to the traditional, conventional financial wisdom to help you plan for retirement. We got to do this different. The world has changed too much, okay? You got to take control of this, though, early. All right. So I want to encourage you, if you got questions, reach out, ask us for some help. We're here to coach you. We're here to help you plan for this thing and get you positioned and putting your money in the right places so that you can do the right thing here. All right. Now, this is important, and you probably never heard this before. So it would be really helpful if you would like this video and share it with other people, because we got to get the word out. Okay. And, subscribe to our channel. If you haven't yet, we're going to be doing more content, more money, more financial coaching stuff that's going to help you, because this is all about changing your behavior, right? The thing is, you've got to start. You just got to do it. Get going. We got to change the behavior and start saving and start taking advantage of the tax code laws that are already in place that'll help you accumulate wealth that's tax-free forever. All right? We can do that together, but you got to start. Don't delay. Don't delay, because think, oh, I'll do it next week or next month, or what turns into next year turns into 10 years. Okay. Trust me, we've been around. We know how that goes. So we got to encourage you to start right away. All right.
That's good.
Don't retire broke like 80+% of the population are doing. Okay. Start right now. Take control. We're here to help you. Reach out to us. So subscribe, leave us a comment, let us know, give us an idea on some content you'd love us to cover. We're happy to do it for you. In the description box below, we'll leave some links. There's some free resources to help you with some planning and a way you can connect with us and schedule a time to talk, okay? But we're here for you. You can do this. We know you can change your life. You absolutely can, and we're here to help you. We'll see you next